distribution transformers. These schemes are located in the districts of Manafa, Kumi, and Soroti. The necessary 11 kV transformers are currently being procured by the ministry, with delivery anticipated by the end of next month, September. The responsibility for compensating project-affected persons for the crops and trees damaged during construction works falls on the government of Uganda. We are unable to compensate PAPs due to budget constraints, as I will be explaining further. Currently, the obligation for compensation on this project amounts to 35.5 billion Ugandan shillings, but no funds have been provided in the financial year 2024-2025. The rampant vandalism of project materials, mainly wires from completed schemes, has severely compromised the functionality and reliability of constructed networks, leading to frequent power outages and increased repair costs. Theft or deliberate damage to essential components such as power lines and transformers disrupt service delivery and has imposed a financial burden to the ministry. Addressing this issue requires enhanced security measures, community awareness, and strict legal penalties to protect infrastructure and ensure the continued benefits of these projects. Let me now embark on electricity access scale-up project. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the ESP builds upon government's earlier interventions to directly support the expansion and strengthening of the electricity distribution network and scale up consumer connections by facilitating at least 1 million electricity connections covering households, commercial enterprises, industrial parks, mining centers, and public institutions. This will significantly increase the level of access to grid electricity in Uganda, as well as increase the share of clean energy usage for cooking. The interventions are therefore well aligned with the government's Vision 2040, the National Development Plan Phase 3, the Parish Development Model, and the Sustainable Development Goal 7, which targets the energy access, among others. Parliament cleared the loan in November 2022, and the project achieved effectiveness on 20th of July 2023. The project is financed by the World Bank to a tune of $628 million US, out of which 276.5 million is a grant. 20 million is to be leveraged from the private sector, and government of Uganda will provide $10 million US. Right Honourable Speaker, the ESP is a 5-year project whose interventions will be delivered through 5 components, which I would like to name. 1, grid expansion and connectivity, consumer connections, and investments in new grid infrastructures to accommodate additional connections. Component number 2, financial intermediation for energy access scale-up. Uganda Energy Credit Capitalization Company will use innovative financing mechanisms, including lines of soft credit through participating financial institutions and grants through energy service companies to promote the supply and uptake of clean energy technologies. Component 3, energy access in refugee host communities. This will provide interventions detailed under Component 1 and 2, but specifically in the refugee host districts. Component 4, project implementation support, affordable modern energy solutions and implementation of performance bond conditions. Component 5, contingent emergency response. This is rapid support for eligible emergencies. A transformer has collapsed, you have to be disaster prepared. Right Honorable Speaker, project implementation is being undertaken by project implementation units at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development and at the Uganda Energy Credit Capitalization Company. A project steering committee is in place to provide oversight and strategic guidance during project implementation. This committee comprises of representation from the Office of the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Minister of Water and Environment, Minister of Education and Sports, Minister of Health, and Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, as well as Minister of Local Government, and then UECCC and my ministry. Let me report on the progress on the implementation of the connection to the grid expansion components. Colleagues, beginning with progress on grid connection under ESP, the ESP targets to add 1,073,000 new grid connections. Implementation of grid connections under Umeme concession commenced in March 2024. Customer applications for both no-pole or one-pole service are being received and processed. Between 11th March and 30th July 2024, a total of 221,412 applications had been received by Umeme, marking a 72% progress in application status of the 309,841 targeted connections for the period ending March 31st, 2025. The cumulative number of connections made by Umeme as at 30th June this year, 2024, stood at 64,037. And Umeme has indicated that they will be able to deliver as per the work plan, since other development partner-funded projects are closing out. And this is expected to be at the end of July 2024, which is last month, and therefore they remain to focus on the ESP. Other distribution companies are undertaking free connections using materials procured by my ministry using other funding sources that were already in place before ESP. The ministry is currently procuring electricity connection materials under ESP to be used by these distribution companies. Right Honorable Speaker, on the progress on grid expansion and connectivity under ESP, my technical teams are undertaking surveys in preparation for the development of construction designs for the power lines extension schemes to be implemented under ESP. All due care is being undertaken in the preliminary data capture to ensure equitable regional spread of new electricity lines in support of new electricity connections. The project is targeting potential consumers who have lived near the electricity network without being connected to the grid, and therefore the targeted extension will be in the radius of about 3 kilometers, short distances. Colleagues, implementation of the grid expansion works is in preparatory stages, with the focus being on two. One, executing procurement to onboard the service providers to deliver the various aspects for grid expansion. And two, preliminary designs and surveys in preparation for the grid expansion execution. As previously highlighted, the scope of grid expansion works will involve: one, construction of 2,900 kilometers of medium voltage network, and two, construction of 3,100 kilometers of low voltage network and associated 1,200 distribution transformers. The progress attained in the procurement and preliminary designs for grid expansion activities is highlighted below. One, planning, designing, and supervision consultancy, where the contractor with the GOPA intake was signed on 22nd of May 2024, and commencement is to be achieved this month, August 2024, after advance payment. The other point is on materials logistics service provider. And this service provider shall manage storage and transportation of all ESP inventory for connections and grid expansion materials. The procurement is at technical evaluation. And three, resettlement action plan consultant. The consultant shall support acquisition of well leaves for the grid expansion components. The procurement is at financial evaluation level. And four, procurements for bulk material suppliers and line installation contractors have also commenced. On the progress on the implementation of the financial intermediation component of the ESP implemented by Uganda Energy Credit Capitalization Company, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this company is a government of Uganda company established to catalyze financing for renewable energy projects and increased access to clean and modern energy services. The company uses limited public resources to leverage private sector participation in the financing of renewable energy projects and access programs. The company is an Apex clean energy financier that majorly intermediates its services in partnership with financial institutions. These are commercial banks regulated by Bank of Uganda, and microfinance institutions and SACCOs regulated by Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, and energy service companies distributing clean energy technologies. This company is implementing the financial intermediation component of ESP project, which is about 110 million US dollars, and will provide financial, technical, and other support for off-grid and clean energy access and productive use of energy. Energy access includes solar home systems, solar systems for commercial enterprises, clean cooking solutions for private and public institutions, and productive uses of energy such as water pumping, irrigation, refrigeration and cooling, water heating, and grain milling, powered by both on-grid and off-grid energy sources. The above interventions target a nationwide coverage including refugee host districts and refugee settlements. So this company will also disburse grants to support the supply and installation of large standalone solar systems to electrify public schools, public health centers, and public water supply systems. The key UECCC implementing partners include participating financial institutions, PFIs, and energy service companies. The PFIs include commercial banks, microfinance institutions, leasing companies, savings and credit cooperative organizations, and investment funds. The PFIs and the ESCOs, the energy service companies that are partnering with UECCC, were publicly solicited through a nationwide call for expression of interest published in September 2023. To date, 32 financial institutions have been accredited to apply for credit support facilities. To date, a technical review committee and the World Bank have evaluated and cleared 87 of those companies to participate in the price subsidy programs. The committee comprises of representatives from the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, my ministry, and UECCC project implementation units. Colleagues, it is important to note that UECCC continues to achieve expressions of interest from financial institutions and energy service companies that are interested in participating in the ESP. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, on the progress of the result-based financial programs under UECCC, UECCC will partner with accredited energy service companies to discount prices for off-grid solar systems for lighting and charging. These are solar lantern prices that will be discounted by 60%, and the prices for solar systems with the 2 lights will be discounted by 50%. Clean cooking solution prices powered by solar, briquettes, ethanol, biogas, electric pressure cookers, and liquefied petroleum gas will be discounted by 30% to 50%. Depending on the technology, productive uses of energy equipment such as water pumping, irrigation, refrigeration and cooling, water heating, and grain milling will have prices discounted by 60%. To date, 35 energy service companies dealing in off-grid solar, 30 energy service companies dealing in productive use of energy products, and 22 energy service companies dealing in non-biomass cook stoves have been shortlisted. The selected companies have a wide outreach and will use market-based approaches to deliver price discounts to the public. The only requirement to purchase the discounted products will be a national identification card and the ability to pay the prices after discount. Beneficiaries will be able to walk away with their products after purchase. As independent verification agent, these are the audit firm, as it will make use of a digital platform to verify sales submitted by the energy service companies. The digital platform will facilitate transparency during the verification process by the independent verification agent. UECCC will also support the energy service companies to address market entry barriers through incentives to make sales in remote areas of Uganda, like Karamoja, the islands, the refugee host districts. This company shall soon execute grant agreements with the selected companies to convey the price discount to the public, and procurement of the independent verification agent, Right Honourable Speaker, is ongoing. On the progress of credit support facility under UECCC, this company will provide lines of credit to PFIs to own land to households and commercial enterprises for acquisition of clean energy technologies, off-grid solar, productive use of energy, clean cooking solutions, internal wiring, and 3-phase connections, and to provide working capital loans to energy service companies. On appraisal on disbursement of loans, Right Honourable Speaker, honourable colleagues, to date, 43.5 billion Ugandan shillings has been approved for on lending to beneficiaries by Centenary Bank, Housing Finance Bank, Finca Uganda Limited, Post Bank Uganda Limited, Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited, and Development Microfinance Limited. 10 additional applications from PFIs are under appraisal, totaling 41 billion Ugandan shillings. Right Honourable Speaker, progress of public institutions program. For the public institutions program, UECCC is the grant pass holder to disperse contract payments to the energy service companies competitively procured by the Ministries of Water, Health, Education to electrify rural water pumping schemes, public health centers, and public schools. On the Ministry of Water and Environment, Right Honourable Speaker, UECCC has signed grant agreements with 4 successful energy service companies that shall electrify the 40 identified water stations covering Northern Uganda 10, Western Uganda 10, Eastern Uganda 10, and Central Uganda 10. The grant amount committed so far is approximately 22 billion Ugandan shillings. The water pumping stations will be identified by Ministry of Water and Environment, while Ministry of Health is currently finalizing the bidding documents for onward submission to the World Bank for a no objection. The release of the request for proposal is planned for September 2022-24, and about 350 health centers identified by the Ministry of Health will be electrified through this component of the ESP. On the Ministry of Education and Sports, the ministry is currently finalizing the bidding document for onward submission to the World Bank for a no objection. The release of the request for proposal is planned for September 2024, and about 350 schools identified by the Ministry of Education and Sports will be electrified through this component of ESP. Implementation challenges. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the Electricity Access Scale-Up project is largely a project that will support the implementation of free connections as stipulated in the electricity connection policy. However, my ministry had a liability of about 72.522,836,357.84 Ugandan shillings, being the outstanding arrears owed by the government of Uganda to the utility companies and contractors in respect of the services and works implemented under the rural electrification program that we experienced. Umeme delayed commencement of free connections under ESP as a result of unpaid arrears. There was a delay. With the approval of Cabinet, my ministry has since paid outstanding arrears to electricity service providers amounting to 36.228585 366 Ugandan shillings, which had been audited by the independent auditors, KPMG, and the balance was to wait for the independent audit and verification by the Office of the Auditor General. All outstanding arrears have since been audited by the Auditor General, and the balance will now be completed in order to avail cash flow to the service providers. On the status of connectivity in the country, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the electricity access in the country stands at 60%. Yes. 22% on grid out of 60%, 22% on grid, 38% off grid. The solars that you use, we count them. That is off grid. Electricity access in the country stands at 60%. 22% on grid, 38% off grid. All district headquarters have been electrified except for Obonji, which is a newly created district. Yes, Kalenga district that recently shifted its headquarters, and Buvuma district, which is an island. Otherwise, the rest of the districts in the country, their headquarters have been connected. Projects have been initiated to electrify these 3 district headquarters. I'm talking about headquarters. Government has also embarked on electrifying sub-county headquarters. This has been our policy. With only 410 sub-counties still remaining out of 2,066 sub-counties, town councils, or division headquarters. 410 remain unconnected. The power distribution grid has increased from 6,496 kilometers as in 2005 to over 80,000 kilometers currently. We have 2,228,384 million customers who are grid connected, 95% of which are domestic. This leaves a balance of about 8.2 million households who need to be connected on the electricity grid. My ministry, together with the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, continue to develop new projects and mobilize financing to propel the country to universal access by 2030, using both on-grid and off-grid solutions. Right Honourable Speaker, challenges in implementing rural electrification programs. 1. Inadequate counterpart funding by government is a key challenge to the implementation of rural electrification programs, whereas my ministry has a contractual and PPAs compensation obligations totaling to over 440 billion Ugandan shillings. The budget provision for financial year 2024-2025 is only 55 billion Ugandan shillings only. The demand is 440 billion. The budget has 55 billion shillings. Whereas construction works under the sub-county projects financed by Exim Bank of China have been completed, government has since released 2.2 billion UGX for compensation out of the required 38 billions. Similarly, construction works have been completed for the Uganda Rural Electrification Access Project, Europe, financed by the African Development Bank, but government has only released 2.6 billion for compensation to date. The trend of inadequate counterpart funding has resulted in delayed implementation of projects and may be the case with ESP, where World Bank requires the ministry to compensate project-affected persons before construction works commence. If the sub-county and URE projects required compensation of PAPs before commencement of construction works, as is required with ESP, these two projects will be stranded to date. Vandalism remains a major challenge to the power supply industry. As already indicated, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, addressing this issue requires enhanced security measures. It requires community awareness, which we are doing, and I would like to call upon everybody to join me in this support. It requires strict legal penalties, and I would like to thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, when you supported the amendment to the 1999 Electricity Act, where we introduced stringent punishment for the people who are involved in vandalism. So this is still with us. And Right Honourable, I would like to conclude by requesting this August Parliament to note the progress made by government in implementation of bridging the demand-supply balance gap through the accelerated rural electrification programs. I would like you to note the progress made by government in the implementation of the electricity access scale-up project. And I would also like you to note the progress made by government to electrify the entire country. I have also mentioned challenges, and I would like this August House to note the challenges faced in implementation of the rural electrification program that include financial constraints and vandalism. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to brief the country on this very, very pertinent and important project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Honourable Ministers, you've seen these are the kind of updates. They help. I think this is a very important update for the country on the many questions that have been asked. Now, honourable colleagues, we are going to open debate now. I'm giving, we shall be using 3 minutes, but I'm giving 5 minutes to the Shadow Minister first for energy, Honourable Kanyike Evans.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I will appreciate the Minister for the elaborate statement she has just made on the floor. However, it is unfortunate that our rules of procedure are very silent about how Shadow Minister responds to the ministerial statements. I intend, as the Shadow Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, to come out with a formal statement on energy governance in Uganda, including rural electrification under Rule 53, on behalf of the Leader of the Opposition. Right Honourable Speaker, I have read and listened very attentively to the Minister's statement. However, it does not clearly address the members' concerns, and that is Honourable Lumu Richard, the Member of Parliament for Mityana South.
Honourable, let me make it very easy for you. You had prepared a statement, okay? But you didn't follow the rules on how it should be done. Let me use my general authority, I allow you, because I can see, yeah, you're going here and there, to read your statement so that we debate. You can do it in a shadow way. But he's a shadow minister. So
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker, for your guidance and indulgence. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, she was replying the question which was raised by Honourable Richard Lumu, the Member of Parliament for Mityana South. And as the Shadow Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, I have this statement to present. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to pay tribute to the Honourable Richard Lumu, who raised this matter of utmost national importance. Unfortunately, is not in a house, is indisposed, and therefore not able to respond to the Minister as provided for under Rule 48 of our Rules of Procedure. And I will briefly, for the recalled, state his areas of concern that led to this ministerial statement. 1. Rural electrification in Uganda has suffered a stillbirth, Right Honourable Speaker. Yes, of uncoordinated efforts, delivering very little after mainstreaming the rural electrification program from an independent agency to a department. In the ministry responsible for energy in October of 2021, the program virtually came to a standstill. Right Honourable Speaker, at the time of the mainstreaming rural electrification in the ministry, hundreds or probably thousands of kilometers of low voltage lines constructed by the Rural Electrification Agency, REA, had not been energized or commissioned. More than 3 years since these lines were erected, the lines are still not energized in many parts of the country. I know members of Parliament will bear witness with me that in their constituencies, many of those unenergized lines were vandalized and conductors taken by vandals. A new World Bank loan and grant project, the Electricity Access Scale-Up project, valued at $638 million, it was even mentioned in the minister's statement, has been rolled out largely to increase connection on the existing grid power lines. Only customers who are lucky to be next to the existing low voltage pole care benefits, they are benefiting from this loan project. Right Honourable Speaker. There is no ongoing program to the extent that power lines to areas are currently not served. Our colleague, Honorable Lumu, rose to this very important point of lack of expanded rural electrification in Mitiana to raise this matter. He raised a matter of Chetume Parish, which is the leading producer of tomatoes in Mitiana. The tomatoes go bad due to lack of a factory to add value addition. And a taxi investor was willing to set up a project, a factory, but due to lack of electricity infrastructures, it was not possible. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Rumu raised the matter of Kaskombe, which has a research center 3, but without electricity infrastructure as well. In most of our constituencies, right, Honorable Speaker, even including your constituents, because I visited Mitoma North when we came as a committee of natural resources and environment, and some of the areas in your constituencies, they don't have power connection. In most of our constituencies, we have examples like those of Mitiana South, and unfortunately, we do not see any program to cure the rural electrification problem. The much hyped electricity access scalar project is not able to expand coverage beyond existing lines. The project was designed to connect customers who require both a no-pole and a one-pole service. We now know that the project is being implemented in some areas, excluding others. As the Minister mentioned it clearly here. In my constituency, and that is Bukoto East in Masaka district, we do not have any free connection. Honorable Minister. In many other areas where implementation has commenced, only those who require no pole service are benefiting, contrary to the design approved by this House. Increasing
the point of order.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, you know I'm not one person who normally raises up on points of orders. But for the sake of having the record right, Right Honorable Speaker, I am aware from which constituency you are from. And I vividly heard the Honorable colleague referring to a constituency for the record purpose as Mitoma North and Ruhinda. Where do you exactly come from?
Thank you. Yes. Yes, for the record. Yeah,
for the record, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes, for the record, I come from Ruhinda North constituency.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, I had just kept quiet, thinking the honorable colleague might have gone to recruit in a different place. You know, we don't belong to the same political line. So now you've given him exactly where I come from. He might put a candidate on me. Okay, yeah, just Ruhinda North. They supported me so much when they visited me as a committee. I want to thank you, honorable colleagues.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. For the record, it is Ruhinda North. And it is in Mitoma district. Let me proceed. Right Honorable Speaker, increasing access to the existing network increasing access to the existing network, it will require electricity access scalar project, which requires injecting thousands of new transformers in the network. The Honorable Minister is aware that some of the transformers in different areas in this country. They are dilapidated and they need to put other transformers, replacing them with those which are dilapidated and of a voltage which fits within those different jurisdictions. Right Honorable Speaker, effect of energy governance on rural electrification program. Right Honorable Speaker, in Uganda is currently undergoing significant uncertainty in energy governance, leading to lack of clarity on fundamental questions on availability, reliability, and affordability of power. At the heart of the uncertainty is the end of the Umeme limited concession and the funding of the infrastructure deficit, including restoration, rehabilitation, and expansion of electricity distribution grid. Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister, in her submission to Parliament during the budget framework paper and the ministerial policy statement for financial year 2024-2025, highlighted the need for Parliament to support the ministry to raise the Umeme buyout amount, as well as giving the successor of Umeme access to financing for the dilapidated grid infrastructure. Right Honorable Speaker, Umeme's concession is ending in 7 months, time from today. Actually, to be specific, that is February 28th of February next year at midnight. You extended too much? Okay, I stand to be corrected. Right Honorable Speaker, the lease and the assignment, the assigned agreement provided for Uganda to have undertaken a study of the status of the grid assets managed by Umeme in the 17th of the 20th year of the concession. Now, in the 19th year, the minister has not given this House a report for the status of the electricity grid managed by Umeme and by the extension of Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited. It has taken the Honorable Rumu Richard the lack of electricity infrastructure in Mityana South for the minister to respond to the matters of energy governance with a budget implication. Right Honorable Speaker, liquidation of Umeme. In this period of rationalization of government agencies, it was mooted and the minister informed the Parliament of the intention to merge the successor companies of Uganda Electricity Board, UEB. From 2001, now 23 years down the road, UEB has been under liquidation. One of her babies, UEDCL, is about to repossess some of the assets that belonged to the board that has failed to die. Right Honorable Speaker, we know that former employees of UEB are dying without payment of their terminal benefits. Many former employees have lost hope in ever receiving their benefits in their lifetime. The minister, for some unknown reasons, never mentioned UEB in liquidation. Umeme's successor. Right Honorable Speaker, Uganda has 9 electricity distribution companies. To mention, Umeme Limited, West Nile Rural Electrification Company, Weniliko, Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited, UEDCL, Bundibujo Electricity Cooperative Society, Chegegwa Rural Energy Cooperative Society, Padel Abim Community Multipurpose Electricity Cooperative Society, Chilembe Investment Limited, Hydro Max, and Kalangala Infrastructure Services Limited, KISS. Umeme is Uganda's main electricity distribution company with a market share of over 95%. UEDCL, the owner of the network, currently operated and maintained by Umeme, is slated to take back its assets and manage it. For UEDCL to expand the current network after taking over from Umeme, the minister should inform this House the proposed source of financing of those investments. Other rural distribution challenges, Right Honorable Speaker, supply and tariffs in the West Nile and Kalangala are unique. Both areas have just been connected to the national grid through electricity transmission infrastructure and a marine cable, respectively. Kalangala, which has previously running on supply from a hybrid of solar and diesel engines, has now been connected onto the national grid and joined problems of the mainland. The tariffs are higher and there is power outage that never used to exist are now so common in those two respective areas. In Kalangala, a unit of electricity is sold to a domestic consumers by a distributor, Kalangala Infrastructure Services, at a cost 1,269.5 excluding VAT. This district is also not able to benefit from the one pole service under the Electricity Access Scale-Up project. For the West Nilers, we congratulate them upon joining the usual national grid challenges. The arrival of the high voltage power to West Nile is good, but the minister is silent on the electricity distribution challenges in the West Nile. The last mile connection run by Wenliko in Madi Okoro and Obongi districts. Right Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I have few prayers. Number one, I pray that this August House finds that there are many substantive issues of energy governance to be addressed by the executive beyond the Minister of Energy. Some of the matters I have raised require input of Attorney General, ministers responsible for privatization, and the Minister for Finance. Lastly, I pray that the statement and that of the minister be referred to the relevant committee, and that is the Committee of of Environment and Natural Resources, to enable Parliament to debate and make a recommendation on the rural electrification with the background of energy planning and governance in our country. I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. And now, Honorable Shadow Minister, just I read through your statement, very brilliant statement, but the problem, you went broader, and the minister now had been limited to 2 projects. Because you see the way it is structured, it was as if the minister has not responded to critical issues in the sector. But our assignment was only on 2 projects. Okay? So, and I request honorable colleagues, we limit our debate to those 2 projects for now, and then I will be guiding at the end on what we'll go on with. So I will start with honorable, I'll pick a few here, and then I pick a few here. I'll start with Honorable Robin Arwakojo. I'll follow with Honorable Kefa Kiwanuka. I add on Honorable Songa. I'm trying to pick in each region. Yes, 1. each. No, West Nile I picked Songa for now. Yes. I also need to pick. Wow. Today all of you are looking at me with masterful eyes. Eh? Huh? This is very rare. All of you, your faces are kind. Yes. No, let me pick an islander. Yes, an islander. And then I'll pick Honorable Choma. Then I'll pick Bishop. I'll pick, yes, I pick Independent Honorable Cyrus, Honorable Nwagaba, for now. But Honorable colleagues, what I promise you, if we can keep it short, I want to give as many of you an opportunity. Because this is a national project. Even if it means us stopping on this one only for today, but I give you time. Okay? So let's be quick, honorable colleagues, so that we give others a chance. Yeah.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank the Minister for her statement, and I would like to talk about electricity in Chai sub-county, because when I did my investigations from the ministry, I was told that it was under EXIM. Gomba West has 5 sub-counties, and of those, it is Chai sub-county which does not have electricity. No inch of electricity at all, no pole, no wire, no transformer. In 2016, electricity to Chai was a presidential pledge and was reaffirmed about a month ago by H.E. the President. I pray that electricity lines be installed from Madu down to Degeya, Nyabugando, Nyachitembe, Rwaheba, Biyanja, Bugura, Nsororo, and Chai itself, and within the 19 villages of Chai sub-county. Secondly, that vandalized lines in Mauchi Parish, Kablasoke sub-county, Rugaga Parish in Kablasoke sub-county, and others be replaced, and the transformers be provided in Bulwadda, Kakubansiri, Rubale, Bukundugulu, Matongo, Chambobo, and Nsozi Biri. We have a solar power project in Kablasoke. I don't know if this is out of it. It's the biggest in East and Central Africa. But I would like the ministry to find out the status of that land, because it would be an embarrassment if it no longer was to be. The power was to go onto the national grid. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Kefa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to speak on this. I've had the opportunity of being chair for the Natural Resources Committee in the 10th Parliament for the 5 years. And it's a lot that have been achieved, Honourable Minister. Congratulations. It's great work that's being achieved. But I have 3 points, just to keep to my time. The first one, I'm surprised that with 210 sub-counties connected, you've declared the project complete, whereas they were supposed to be 287. Is this a symptom of some revision that have been done without the knowledge of Parliament? The second point that I'm interested in, the purpose of the project was to stimulate demand in the country. Through connection, having increased users, it was hoped that it will bring the tariffs down. You've not reported on that. I wonder what effect this project has had on the tariffs in the country. The other big problem that we had, we were having a lot of generation, and actually many times talking about excess supply than actually what could be consumed. There wasn't much in terms of investment in transmission and investment in distribution. I think a lot has been achieved in the area of distribution, and again, congratulations on that. But there was a concern that the transmission lines that we are having, on which the distribution lines are being connected, are very old. Actually, some of them obsolete. constructed way back in the 1960s. I've not had any mention that actually some work has been done around the transmission line, trying to update them. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're having outages and increased technical losses. Finally, Honorable Minister, there is a problem, as mentioned by the Shadow Minister, that a number of contractors subcontractors around the country on this Tibea project have not been paid. And I wonder what the status is about that at the moment. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, my chairperson. Honourable Kefa was my chairperson, and we processed this project. And it's a project really, the one of Tibea. It's a project, Honourable Minister, I'm finding a few issues with this statement. I think you need to dig deeper. But I hope in the debate they'll come out. Very good example here on page 4, where you say that they didn't cover 11 kVA transformers, but then you covered 7, and you have 78.9 kilometers that don't have transformers. So where did these transformers go then, if they were planned and they were part of the contract? So meaning you're having 78 kilometers where the contractor didn't put transformers. So, and we say the project is closed. So still a lot. I hope we can get out more. Yes, I had picked Honorable Songa.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members. First of all, I want to thank the Minister for the statement. For the last 50 years, I had been waiting for that power in West Nile. But West Nile had been waiting for that power for 100 years. We thank you for that initiative to connect West Nile to the national grid. And we also pray that you fast track now the completion of Nyagak 6.6 megawatts so that it can be stepped up to supply power in West Nile. And then the issue of the energy mix and the solar, I think that will be very important. I also want to congratulate you for the LPG, and then for the solar, and then the initiative for clean cooking, because we are losing many of our mothers and children under 5 because of indoor air pollution. And so if we can promote clean cooking, we shall be saving both in the health sector, but also saving our mothers and children under 5. Related to that, the materials for batteries are still being taxed. The materials for making solar batteries are still being taxed. It's making solar very expensive. The same with cylinders. That should be addressed. On the Uganda Electricity Capitalization, Credit Capitalization Fund and the UDB, I think the issue will be more to do with the interest rate. How much is the interest rate? Is it affordable? That should be addressed. And then the agreement was signed, coverage. If I look at my district of Zombo and Greater Nebi, the coverage of this project is very scanty, and we feel that at least health centers and irrigation sites should be included so that they are also connected. And then there is also the issue of the PAPs. Last week, during the recess, I had people who had challenges on that, but you have explained, we shall continue to explain that the money is still going to be processed so that they are paid. Then World Bank issues focuses too much on refugee host areas. How about refugee impacted area? This should be also addressed. Otherwise, on the challenges, we are ready to support you so that this can be addressed.
Thank you. Honorable Okeyo, then Honorable Choma.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, I come from the islands, and these are unique areas of Sigulu, the islands of Mayuge, the islands of Vuma, the only area, apart from northern Uganda, that do not have access to electricity. Honorable Minister, when are these Ugandans also going to take the opportunity to have electricity in their areas. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, is the question of the solar energy that was established on Dolwe Islands. The people prefer that they would rather go back to diesel power than solar power because a bulb is charged 5,000 and it has become so expensive for our people. Like the Shadow Minister clearly indicated, you find that people are not consuming power. Honorable Minister, when can this be reduced to make sure that our people enjoy the power? Right Honorable Speaker, also the question of compensation. I think this House and the government should think twice. How do we really access electricity and then consider compensation? Because many projects have failed because of compensation. I think this country and this House should address the question of compensation such that we access power and services to our people. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I think it was last week when I touched on that issue. We are facing problems. Honorable Minister for Finance, you have been running projects, and I'm going to finance because it's the one which negotiates these projects. Now, we have been running electricity projects in our constituencies without compensation. From Kuwait, Aberdare, what? But now you just bring one project and you're saying you're going to give compensation. And then the people who are not compensated on the older projects are saying, no, you people, you ate our money. Some are even saying, remove the rains, I also need compensation. So when you're negotiating with World Bank, all this money you would be putting in compensation for one pole, for two poles. You would add it on so that we connect as many people, or we have uniformity. I request that it's something you just need to look into, Honorable Minister for Finance, when you're negotiating projects. Honorable Choma, it's just for noting, Honorable Minister. It's a big issue.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity, and I want to thank the Minister for the comprehensive report. Right Honorable Speaker, I will start with the table. I appreciate that the update is on 2 projects. However, the biggest concern is electricity, whether under these projects or other projects. Because I've focused specifically on Ibanda, and I have detected that all the write-ups who have been making are not captured. It is only in one sub-county of Chijongo where the issues are captured, but the rest, including Gishongo Town Council, where actually power just passes over a market, the biggest market in the constituency, all these are not captured. And now I want to believe, since we have been choosing by region, most of the colleagues are affected in the same way. Would it be prudent that perhaps at another time the minister can give us a comprehensive, so that we know if Ishongo is not in the scale-up project, maybe it is captured in other projects. About the compensation, it is a big challenge. Even those who have accessed compensation will find that instead of one getting, say, 30 million is given 3 million, just omitting by 1-0, but which is a big concern. Then others are compensated, others are not compensated. And we have been raising all these issues. Then, Honorable Chair, the minister has raised 2 challenges. Counterpart funding. The good thing, the Minister of Finance is here. Why would we fail to counter fund these crucial projects for rural electrification? The minister maybe will give us an answer. Vandalism. This has been happening everywhere, Right Honorable Speaker. And you see, the wires which are vandalized cannot be removed by ordinary people from our constituencies. This must be work done, and inside the work, done by either the contractors or those other subcontractors Honorable Kefa has mentioned. And now, when that one is done, it takes a lot of time before they are fixed. So, may I know whether that one is done during the defect reliability?
Thank you. Yes. Noah, I had picked Honorable Noah Wanzara, then Honorable Cyrus Algon, then Honorable Nwaga.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Minister of Energy for the comprehensive report. And I want also to thank Government of Uganda for extending power to Ugandans. Mr. Speaker, in the project which was implemented in Nakasongola, Mr. Speaker, in the contract agreement, there was what they called the 1 kilometer radius, where they had to put a transformer, power had to go a kilometer radius. But this one didn't happen, and I want the minister to tell me why it didn't happen. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, where they had to put a transformer, the transformers were supposed to be 100 kV, but in some areas they were putting 50 kV. We want to ask the Ministry of Energy why it happened, because if the contract agreement says 100 kV and you put 50 kV, that's not equal to me. Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate that the ministry is going to extend power where power is within 3 kilometers. I want to inquire from the ministry. In some areas, the surveyors have gone to survey, but Nakasongola have not seen the surveyors. When are the surveyors coming to Nakasongola to survey? But in case they come, Honourable Minister, want to request that the members of Parliament and political leaders be involved in the activity. Lastly, it's about the compensation. Mr. Speaker, where these power lines were passing, mango trees and other trees were cut, and people were promised that they are going to compensate them. But Mr. Speaker, up to today, compensation has not taken place, and people think that members of Parliament, when we come here, we don't speak. Mr. Speaker, we want to request the Ministry of Energy to take it up and compensate these people whom are supposed to be compensated. I beg to submit. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Cyrus Algon.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. First, I would love to appreciate the Minister and the Ministry. I want to congratulate her, much as she's busy with the colleagues. Congratulations upon connecting West Nile. I was on that committee on natural resources together with the Right Honorable Speaker here, pushing for West Nile to be connected, and it took so long. I nearly developed Alisas. But I'm now happy that, yes, finally, something has happened. Number two, the issue of connecting the 3 places, Buvuma, Karenga, and Obongi, is something we cannot wait forever. Right Honorable Speaker, we must stay as a nationalist. How can we afford to let the whole country get connected? We start on new projects all the time, but there are 3 places which have not been connected to date. We don't want to demonstrate. This one should be taken seriously. I now speak as a countryman. We need to help those areas. Back to Kumi. Right Honorable Speaker, we have had incomplete projects arising from REA. In 2017, we pushed for government to help us with rural electrification. Some areas were given poles. But to date, people are not using their power. It is now 7 years down the road. I remember when REA was being phased out, some money was transported to Ministry of Energy. Where did this money go? Because I thought that that money should have been able to complete for us these projects. To date, some of the places are not working. That one I can tell you.
Only for the record, the money was transported.
That is financial language, Right Honorable Speaker. It crossed lines, it went to the other side. So the minister should explain to us exactly why we are having even dates with the contractors who worked with the REA. Yet you got over 500 billion that moved sides to the other side. That is a big issue. Right Honorable Speaker, municipalities need attention. Let's stop talking just about rural areas. Municipalities need attention because the populations are surging into towns. The towns are expanding, but there's no support. So we are living in darkness and crime is increasing. Come to Kumi now, the town has increased. Government has given us some tarmac, but it's in the darkness. When are you bringing security lights to municipalities?
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, I remember very well, and when I was on that committee, you know, nearly every year we would be told about those 3 districts. Obongi, Bovuma. No, Karenga is of recent. Karenga is of recent because they are saying Karenga, they transferred the district headquarters. So that's what caused the problem. But now, then they were saying, Buvuma, they are getting the cable, the marine cable. And this was up to around, I remember, 2021. Now, like Obongi, what would be the problem? What is so unique? In fact, I want to know what is so unique about Obongi that we announce it every, Minister, Obongi. Really, first, yes. What is so unique that since I was a member of the Natural Resources Committee, they say Obongi. The MP is Honorable Yon from Obongi? No. Obongi, we have Honorable Zumra. Yes, but Honorable Zumra is here. Yes, I know, but Honorable Zumra is here. Yeah, we have Honorable Zumra Maneno.
And then you also give to Guru City.
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it is really true that Obongi is the only district in this country where the people have never seen a pole of electricity. For them to see a pole of electricity, they should first cross the river to Ajumani. That's when they will see a pole of electricity. They should go to Moyo. That's when they will see a pole of electricity. And they have been singing Obongi on black and white, but implementation is zero. Right Honorable Speaker, recently on 13th, 2023, when the President was touring the country, he made a promise that by November 2023, Obongi will receive electricity. Up to now, there's nothing. Right Honorable Speaker, people of Obongi, they are hosting refugees. If you take the population of refugees that have been kept in Obongi, they are more than the host community. Under the component 3 of refugee hosting communities, to be connected to electricity, Obongi has been left out. Obongi is not connected. Why? Why is the ministry marginalizing people of Obongi? Right Honorable Speaker, recently you gave directives for the ministry to go to Obongi. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm here to inform you that none of them reached Obongi. Up to now, up to tomorrow, no minister has gone to Obongi. So since the minister is here, please, I don't know whether Obongi is in Uganda. If they don't want us in Uganda, since we are bordering South Sudan, they can give us that permission and we move with the refugees. Obongi belongs to South Sudan, and then we start demanding for electricity from South Sudan. But Right Honorable Speaker, before I raise my case, let the minister explain to us why they are always defying on your directives that they should go on ground and investigate on projects and report on floor of Parliament. Thank you.
Oh no, Nankabra, I know you'll be in Obongi tomorrow. I know you very well.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I actually enjoy working in the field. And I don't remember any time when you instructed me specifically to go to Obongi and I defied. I have gone to the remotest places in this country. I am standing here to pledge that my ministry is committed to make sure that we conclude the loop of West Nile on grid connection. Ubongi, I think that distance could be about 12 kilometers. And when we were in West Nile recently on the 3rd, I committed myself before the president that my next move now is to make sure that we connect Ubongi. I am standing here again to really do further commitment that at least before you go back to face with the voters, the Ubongi will be smiling. Ubongi will be smiling, right, Honorable.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, you've seen on this project, there is priority being given to refugee hosting areas, and since Ubongi is one of them, okay, I hope it can be assorted quickly. Yes, I had allowed Honorable Nwaga.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and I want the attention of my very good friend, the Honorable Ruth Nankabirwa, because I want to quarrel with her today. I want to quarrel with you, although you are my good friend. One, I am surprised that Kabale district was left out of the rural electrification program when at the time this loan was procured. Kabale was one of the benefiting districts, and in particular, my constituency, which has always been marginalized, simply because Wilfred Nwagaba belongs to this side. The opposition. So I would want to know why you ultimately removed the Kabale. No, I was that side, but I was chased. Why you removed the Kabale from the benefiting districts? Could that explain the reason why when REA was disbanded, all the poles it had planted in some of the parishes remain with no wires to date? And I would pray, Right Honorable Speaker, that actually an investigation be made on this particular loan, on how it was applied by REA and subsequently when transferred to the ministry. Who performed, who failed to perform, and where is the money? Two, on the electricity access scale-up project, you've mentioned the number of health centers to be connected, water stations, schools, and the like. I would want to know the list of these water stations in Western Uganda, and specifically for Kabale district and Rwanda and Ruchiga. I also want to know which schools in Western Uganda, particularly in Kabale, are going to benefit, and the health centers which are going to benefit. Because there is a lack of equity in your ministry. Maybe you will bring some sanity. I know you've been busy with the oil, but take it up. Take up the electricity sector very seriously. Because there is a lack of equity, especially when it comes to my constituency. I can actually tell you, I have 2 power stations. Of course, one, you've kept it disused, but there is one which is running, but unfortunately the power generated is evacuated the national grid, leaving my people in the darkness. I had wanted to revolt and cut the wires, but I said, let me be a good citizen. And actually, one of the good aspects of a good citizen, for us, we have a grid in the Northwest. If there is a government project, be it power, be it roads, our people will not seek.
Conclude.
Yes, we have convinced our people that when they are getting a road, when they are getting power, they will sign up without asking for compensation, as long as the service is delivered. Lastly, Right Honorable Minister, just give me the statistics of the 22% of the on-grid where my constituency falls among the 22%, since we don't have the off-grid. Thank you, Right Honorable.
Yeah, honorable colleagues, we are debating, and I want you to bring out all these questions, because at the end, this is a matter which must go to the Natural Resources Committee. Because when they bring these risks here, it's very difficult to scrutinize deeply. But I know the minister can engage with the committee very well. They scrutinize in detail, and then even members can appear before the committee for those who have issues. and then we have this matter well concluded. I have picked many men. I want first pick ladies. Yeah, so I request all men to sit. And I will start with ladies who have been here, not those who just entered a few minutes. And the ones who just entered know themselves. Yeah. So I'm going to Chiboga, I do Karangara, I do Dokoro, I do Guru. Now, you're very many. So I do Mukono, because you've complained more. I do Mbare. It's a time for ladies. You're men. Yes. I do Masindi. I do Buhenju. I do Shema. I do Kumi. I do Napak. I do Bujiri. I do Fort. I do Jinja. I will do Abim. And I do Ajumani.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the statement. And just to remind ourselves that there were some other two issues that were really falling in line with the statement that we needed from the Minister. There was an issue from the Honorable Member from Barara, who was worried about schools that do not have energy-saving equipment, and she was worried about the way schools use biomass in cooking. And so we thought that the Minister would also come up with a response, because they have some program for establishing energy-saving equipments for our population. But Right Honorable Minister, I've also observed that tracking progress in our ministry, I think we need to improve on it. Because when members are asked, if you give chance to members to ask, what shows that there is an improvement in electricity connectivity, the indicators that I will give sometimes cannot be traced in any report. So, and that one makes people feel probably that there may not be an improvement. So it is very important for us to come up with these indicators and the contribution by every program, but in totality, what all the programs.
Honorable colleagues, we are going to be quick. I pick as many.
Okay.
Because we have a chance of going to the committee. So
yes.
Conclude, Honorable.
Right Honorable Speaker, the recent call for our Minister to also mind about the generation of power from landfills. We request that you take it upon yourself, and you help KCCA and the other municipalities to generate energy. We appreciate that 38% of the population is off grid, and people think that is their own effort, and they are looking out for the efforts of the government. So somehow, somewhere, for us to report that government has only contributed 20%, 20-something percent, is also in another scale. We want government contribution to be more, because off grid is private expenditure. People suffer with
Karangara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for your statement. I want to first of all congratulate the people of Kalangala and you, Honorable Minister, for allowing the people of Kalangala to access electricity, being connected to the national grid, and thank you very much. Unfortunately, we were using solar power, and we had electricity from morning to morning. But with this connection, it is very disturbing. We do not have power. It is on and off. The power supply is on and off, and it is a disturbance to the people of Kalangala, and especially the business community. Mr. Speaker, we are connected to the line from Villa Maria, which goes through Bukakata, the marine cable to Kalangala. This one is very congested, and we, through the Kalangala Infrastructure Services, request that we get a dedicated line for Kalangala. I request, it's my humble request. Thank you so much for noting that down.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, another is about the tariff. When we got connected to the main grid, Mr. Speaker, I thought the prices were going to lower. I thought the tariffs were going to be lower than what we were using before. But as we speak, it is 1,265.5 a unit, which is very, very high for my people, Madam Minister. Please try as much as possible to see that my people also enjoy like the ones. It is very high. Yeah, it is actually higher, yes. And finally, Mr. Speaker, in Kalangala district, where we have gotten the marine cable, the consumption tariff is higher, commercial consumption tariff is higher than the domestic. But on the main grid, the people in Kampala and this side, the consumption, the commercial consumption is lower because the government has, I think, subsidized for the business community because we get revenue out of all the businesses. But in Kalangala, it is the reverse. We would request government to ensure that the people of Kalangala in the business community also enjoy this. And also finally, the no...
Mbari. No, there is no one on the floor. Information is given by the one holding the floor.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to appreciate the Minister for the statement. However, I just have two issues to raise to you, Honorable Minister. Mbale, I think, is 60% connected to the national grid, but we still have gaps. We still have health centers that are not connected in 5 sub-counties. And we still have schools that are not connected, especially the primary schools. So I do not know the procedure that can be done or be made for these institutions to be connected, because especially in the health centers, there is a lot of struggle for people to be supported in the health facilities simply because there is no electricity. The other one is on no pole and one pole service. My people in Bale district have applied for no pole and one pole service, but they still complain that they are not supported. They have messages on their phones having paid the amount that is required, but they have not got the service. So I want to know from you, Honorable Minister, what steps should be taken for these people to get the service? I thank you.
Butambara Dokoro.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I join colleagues to thank the Minister for the statement. About the project that talks about the coverage within she now says 3 kilometer radius. My question is, how did it change from 5 to 3? Because we've all along been told, even the committee, there's supposed to be 5 kilometer radius. When did it change from 5 to 3? Number 2, about the private sector engagement, where they need to engage the private sector to contribute. I have a scenario in my area where they are now telling people to contribute, each village, to fundraise 5 million shillings to fasten the extension of electricity to their area. Is this the private sector you're talking about? Because already people are soliciting money from my people. And about the past, I didn't hear you speak about the electric poles standing. I have so many villages in my area where electric poles are standing up to now, and I almost want to run away from that area because it's like I'm a hindrance. Because they voted me, people of Kasansala, people of Ranjiri, people of Tende will never get power until they throw me out of office. So your statement did not talk about those electric poles that are standing. When do they expect to get power? For them, this whole English do not benefit them. They want to know, when are we getting electricity connection? Thank you, Speaker.
Dokoro, Guru.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to say that the whole northern Uganda does not have reliable electricity. And for example, before I give the example, I'm happy for Moyo that it is connected. On 3rd, I was in Moyo burying my auntie. That is the day they were celebrating electricity in Moyo. So I'm also happy for them. But the examples of district in northern Uganda that does not have reliable electricity, we have Amolatar. That is also my neighbor on south, and then Kaberamaido. Sometimes they get electricity daytime, at night there's darkness. But I know that other sub-counties are not yet connected up to now. Coming to Dokolo, where I come from, some few homes, some few places, some few sub-counties in Dokolo, they are connected. But the whole of Dokolo North, not even one sub-county is connected with electricity. So, Minister, I want you to note this, that Dokolo, some places are having, but the whole of Dokolo North, we don't have electricity. But also it includes my home. I come from Dokolo South, but also my home is not yet connected. Other places are having poles, electric poles. And this one started way back 2016. Started way back 2016 by throwing of poles around the district of Dokolo. 2021, the poles were put to stand. Then now 2026, I pray that they are connected with electricity, especially.
Guru Komansimbi.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And I would like to also thank my Honorable Minister, very active and always visible on the ground. Thank you for the report. In law, they say justice denied, justice delay is justice denied. And connectivity, it looks like it's a song, but we don't see this happening to our people. The 1 pole and the 0 pole. You know, our people complain. Like for us in Gulu City, we have this substation established. We have also the generation in Aswa 1 and Aswa 2. At least we are surrounded by generation, and even we thought that also connectivity should be there. You see, people ran away from Gulu, especially those in production or in industry. They ran away because of poor electricity supply and also insufficient. We pray that they should be coming, but as they come back, we should be very effective and vigilant on the ground. And also the compensation. Some other people complain about compensation, while Honorable Noangaba said for them, they say they are free. But in our place there, some other people say, how could you compensate the other one there and you don't compensate us? Gulu City has to be a complete city if we have the suburb connected to electricity. But sometimes people struggle even to buy their own what do they call it? No, not poles. It is, that one, well, it's expensive. You remember that Umeme even inherited for the electricity, but electricity company. Yet Umeme should have actually come out with their own, their own, that one, which I have forgotten the name. So we really need, we cannot, transformer, yes, it's transformer. We cannot really allow our people to struggle.
Thank you, Mukomansimbi Mukono.
Thank you, Right Honourable
Then
Speaker.
Ruwero Chotera.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and the Minister for the statement. Honourable Minister, I would seek some clarity from your statement on the issue of no poll and one poll. We have people collecting different amount of money from people, promising to connect them to electricity, the final consumers. Some are collecting 300, 500 in Bukoma and Simbi, but for 6 months they are not connected, yet they paid their money. I can bring the petition, I have the evidence to your office. Secondly, Right Honourable Minister, I don't know what we should do in town, in business centers, where electricity is very low. People are doing their businesses there, but they are complaining power is on and off, and it's affecting their businesses. What should we do, Right Honourable Minister, to help our people, also in business centers? Thank you.
Thank you, Mukono.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the report. I want to associate myself with the Honourable Nwagaba and Honourable Kabanda about the implanted poles, electricity poles that were implanted there 3 years ago. Yes, actually 3 years ago. So up to today, those poles have never been wired. Whenever we pass through our constituencies, they show us the poles, and we have no answers to such questions. Secondly, Mukono has industries and factories. There is a problem of power shortage due to lack of enough transformers along the lanes. So that also affects the neighboring residents nearby the factories, and less even other areas. So I request, since we need the industries and factories along, but also the residents need to consume and enjoy the supply of electricity. So please help us and put more transformers into that area such that we can enjoy the supply of electricity. I thank you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. My issue, as I appreciate the Minister and our able shadow Minister for the statement.
I mean the one of government.
No, I appreciate the Minister, then I appreciate the able shadow Minister more. Right Honourable Speaker, we have an issue of overloading in trading centers where the lines cannot serve both the trading centers, businesses, and personal homes. So that stores the businesses of the people who are operating, because fridges cannot operate at the same time homes operating on the same line, which is overloaded. Secondly, Right Honourable Speaker, there is segregation in installation of these power lines because there are villages, especially in my area, Kabila, villages that are so close, just neighboring villages, and then you skip one village, which is just neighboring, and you go to the next village. So this village that is skipped is forced to personally acquire lines, which is very expensive because they ask for so much money, 7 millions, 8 millions, which they cannot afford. So it's challenging, and would like your response, Honourable Minister, on that. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Ruwero.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Ruwero, continue.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the report and also the Shadow Minister. Right Honourable Speaker, I have a concern actually on the earlier lines that were put in place under the REA projects. When you come to our district, we have lines that have been in place without electricity for almost 7 years, and this is a very big problem because REA was disbanded, and the Minister needs to inform the country on when they are going to come out and work or complete these projects. Because even Umeme, when our people ask Umeme to connect them, it cannot, because it says that these projects have not been
commissioned. That's very, very fundamental and urgent, because you have areas in the rural areas where you have lines, but they cannot actually get electricity. Also, Mr. Speaker, I am very concerned on the issue of compensation vis-a-vis accessibility. Because it seems like we have many projects, but when it comes to compensation, you find that you need a lot of money to compensate. And actually, when you're taking power lines, like for household consumption, you find that you use a small, you don't have to put so many poles in maybe a piece of land. We need to go back and think about this, because if we want to access electricity and we are finding a problem in compensation, then we need to look at the policies and see what we can do as Ugandans, because we want this in our communities, but now we are hindered. I think it is a discussion we can have and be honest to each other and see how we can help government improve electricity accessibility. Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the tariffs, when you go to the rural areas, the people we represent, most rural people cannot afford electricity. We come here and discuss, but if we don't discuss the cost of electricity to farmers or households where you have farmers, where you have people who do not get $1 a day, you will never be able to bring electricity to their houses, because electricity should not be...
Masindi Napak. You know, statistics show it's the women who suffer most on issues of looking after homes, cooking, and, you know, yeah. So, yes, they face the biggest repercussion. Now, you men, you can afford to pay bills and you'll be enjoying outside there. So women.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
I will allow you. These are your women.
Yes.
Not mine, so.
Yes, we are speaking for the whole district. So we are actually speaking for all the men. Yeah, we take the whole district. Right Honorable Speaker, thanks so much. Members, the issue of energy, electricity, cannot be taken lightly, because electricity brings life. Without electricity, everything comes to a standstill. While we mourn and lament over this electricity, I'm not getting the solution, because Madam Minister, thanks so much for the enriched statement, and indeed you told us your issue is not implementing, the issue is financing. She told us that she demanded 440 billion. She only received 55 billion. That 55 billion, that is 12%. So members, how do we come to conclude on this? We are going to lament, we are going to talk until the cows come home. There is no money for this electricity. So if she has received only 12% of the budget, how do we get the co-funders? So Madam Minister, how do we help you to make sure that actually you distribute electricity which is reliable, which is cheap? So we need to go to the Committee of Natural Resources and give our views on how we can help government, because there is no money, and we can talk and talk until tomorrow. This electricity, you will not see it in your homes, I can assure you. So we need to find a way of getting the money. Either we reorganize the budget, I don't know, because I'm just thinking of a solution. For me, I'm thinking of a solution. Madam Minister, the other time we were here, we were talking about agricultural cluster development project. And we realized that a number of agriculture.
Conclude,
Yes.
Honorable, conclude.
I was here, we are here discussing the agriculture cluster project, where a number of maize plants were installed in some places, and some of these places actually are not connected to electricity. And I remember making an alarm here, Madam Minister, where are you? So I request that you link up with the Minister of Agriculture. This cluster project is a failed state, and there are a number of projects, is a failed one, a failed project. The number of mills were put in place, and they are not connected to electricity. So I request you that to link up so that some of these machines are not wasted because they are not connected to electricity.
Thank you. Napak, Shema, Uwenju, Kumi. Then I'll pick Bujiri, Terego, Jinja, Fort Potter. And yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
And for areas where you don't see your woman MP, you can declare yourself a woman, and then I'll see what to do.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I also wish to thank the Minister for that statement. I have 3 issues on which to speak about. One of them, the work that RIA started doing in my district in Napak is not yet complete. For example, Napak Town Council, a half of the town council got connected, the other half requires a transformer, and the other half that doesn't have a transformer is the one that has institutions that are not connected. It is my appeal that the ministry will complete the work that RIA started in Napak so that our towns and our institutions are connected. Our small towns are connected so that our people, our children do not come to Kampala to look for light. They also need a town that is lit. Secondly, Right Honorable, the minister has said she is worried that this project will not perform. And that should worry us. And I agree with the Honorable Asimwe that the Queendance, that we should give our suggestion here. She said there is a likelihood of a non-performing loan. This is a loan that's already been acquired because of a deficit of the 385 billion that the ministry requires for PAPs. My appeal is that Cabinet, the executive, when they are bringing their next estimates, they should also consider that, or else it will remain a non-performing loan, which is bad for this country. Right Honorable, it means also that the next time we pass here a loan, we should be clear on where the other contribution is coming from and the commitment of government to put their contribution so that there is no non-performing loan. Finally, Right Honorable, on the question of vandalism, I visited our neighbors, Kenya. They have designated a police unit to handle vandalism of critical infrastructure. We could also do that, given the level of investment, the materiality of the cost for each pole that is stolen. It's about 250 million. We cannot afford to just leave it like that. We could copy some good practices from our neighbors. Finally,
Shema, Wenju, Kumi. Now, honorable colleagues, you don't know the reason. You know, I follow up on our WhatsApp groups. Now, I saw the ladies complaining that men we are recycling sweets. You saw, and they gave me a list. So today I've decided to punish men that we first buy, they said we buy at least 6 pairs of suits so that we stop recycling. And I have a list. So if you know you have been recycling, so then I will forgive you when I don't see you recycling. Honorable Nyashkongoro, no, that was on the right note.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity as women, because we are, as women members of Parliament, we are limited to other functions, but not to these important projects
that affect our districts. And I want to thank the minister and your entire team, because your ministry is always open. Whenever we want to approach you, you are very, very approachable. Honorable Minister, you know, electricity is one of the things that the voters look at. And it is something that they consider as tangible, that really appreciated, that is appreciated by voters. All these things that members have been talking about are affecting us, and I know you are all politicians. The polls that they were talking about, I don't know who threw them there in 2016. Those polls are becoming a stumbling block in our politics. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you. You talked about the project that is going to be implemented without transformers. And I was just talking about the transformer that has been replaced from my place, in a place Tigaramakatanoga. People are demonstrating. A transformer of 100 kV was removed. I don't know which team brought that one of 50 kV. It is not functional. People are complaining. But I want to come to your office because they have presented a petition to me, which I had not yet printed out. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of Tibea project that abandoned certain sites, how are you going to reconcile with the ongoing projects that are happening in your ministry? Because we are finding it a problem. Right Honorable Speaker, there is also the issue of, you've talked about Waneko, Chirembe. Me, I'm interested in Chirembe because it supplies power in my constituency. But that Chirembe power is always off. Load shedding is too much. And people are losing their properties, particularly those traders who have machines for producing the mirrors, the welders. They are really affected. How they are asking us actually to ask you if you could change them from Kirembe to this other ginger power distribution.
Uwenju, then Kumi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and thank you, the Minister.
I'm sorry for rushing you colleagues today because I want to pick as many.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for that statement. I want to take us back to those people who were in the 10th Parliament. We came here in this Parliament and we made a resolution of two things about electricity. We agreed on connection to the sub-county, electricity connection to the sub-county. And then we also resolved on free connectivity. Honorable Minister, I don't know whether we followed what we discussed about. Because I even remember 2019, 2020, His Excellency went and commissioned the electricity, connectivity to the sub-counties. But I want to assure you that that project stalled. That was the project that was under Tibea. I want to give you an example in my district of Weju. It stalled there and then. People have been calling me, Honorable, come and take your polls. Come and take your polls to the government because we don't see the use of these polls here. So it is that bad. And for me, I don't look at the polls and everything. I look at the taxpayers' money that is being wasted. Vandalization is the order of the day. Because these people, they don't see anything. They don't see anything in these wires. So they come, take them, and go and sell them. Actually, we have tried as a district to get those people who vandalized the wires. But we have failed to get them. I don't know who is doing this. I don't know where the wires go. So it is a mystery, Honorable Minister.
Bujiri. Oh, Kumi then Bujiri. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
I appreciate the Minister for the statement. But Right Honourable Speaker, aware that there's a very big demand for electricity across the country, I want to make a proposal, even as we are aware about the budget cuts, that some money would first of all be put in the connection of those poles that are already existing, because we need the service. Because we can have so many projects coming up, but what are we achieving? I think it is better to do one thing at a time and we see the service delivered. Number two, I heard from the Minister about the discount of 60%. When is this going to be implemented? Because you know, the whole country is updated now when we are having plenary. So that when we go back to our people, we tell them and give them details about the discount of 60%. Number three, Right Honourable Speaker, I am one of those who is worst hit because I have a state minister for energy. And he's also finding life very difficult. Just on Sunday, we were in the program for the inauguration of a new bishop. And they just said, and they decided to call the minister to be the guest of honor so that Bishop's house finally gets what? Connected. And then also, there was a team of technical persons who did surveys within the municipality, in a major primary school, in the centers. So many lines were surveyed across the 3 counties in Kumi district. Unfortunately, since the time the surveys were done, nothing has taken place. You know, with the people, once they see the technical staff doing the surveying and whatever, they now believe that in the shortest time possible, there will be what? Power. How long should the communities wait when surveys have been done to realize the service? It is very critical on ground.
Bujiri. Then Terego.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the affirmative action. I hope the Ministry of Energy will also do the affirmative action to Busoga for electricity distribution, since we house the first dam. As other people benefit from the oil roads, tourism, whatever, we should also benefit from this electricity as Busoga. Otherwise, I take the opportunity to thank you, Honourable Minister, for a very good, well laid out report. Your ministry has staff and agencies. How I wish they could also go down and give that information to the people so that they understand how they are supposed to get connected, the free connections, so that they give them information. Otherwise, that information is very rare on ground. Honourable Minister, I wish also to thank you for the project of Tibeya that connected the sub-counties. However, I think that project needs an investigation because it is a project that was implemented at a time when the transition was going on between REA and ministry. And while the implementation was going on, those people could not be supervised. People would complain, but you would even have nowhere to report. The engineers would call them and they say, you see this transition, we don't even have fuel, what? So the way they implemented the project, they would take the electricity to the sub-counties and leave out the 1 kilometer radius, to the extent that they would leave even very vital facilities like health centers and schools that are in a radius not even beyond 1 kilometer, Honourable Minister. So I request that in the subsequent programs, because I've seen some school connections in the statement, if we could reconsider those places so that they get connected. Otherwise, the ground is not leveled because of that discontent among the population. Honourable Minister, I would also request
Yeah. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise to thank the Minister and her team. A week ago, the Minister sent her team to Terego to find out, actually to West Nile, to find out the most shining and best district built. And it so happened Terego was the best, and they launched electricity in Terego. I'm so grateful. And I would love to behave like Oliver Twist. Yes, the electricity went straight to the district headquarters, but elsewhere we are still in darkness. I would pray after launching in the district headquarters, let's spread it to the sub-counties, schools, so that Terego that shines at the district shines elsewhere. And last week I was in Obongi. I'll do a disservice to West Nile if I don't say this. The people of Obongi almost locked 8 of us, members of parliament, out of Obongi. Said, what are you coming to do here when you people cannot allow us to have light? I can tell you the chairman was to travel, but he was to apply for visa online. But because of power shortage, because it was raining and he couldn't use the internet to apply for visa, he failed to travel. That is the chairman of Obongi. I'm here to say, Honorable Minister, Obongi should be #1 priority. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, I attended a meeting of SynBio Africa. These very important scientists, the CEO is a Ugandan, but now he heads synthetic biology in the 8th best university in the world, that is in Singapore. That can turn all the waste we are complaining of in Chitebi into electricity, in Chitebi into whatever it is. I told you I don't speak Luganda because of something. You can take the word, but Right Honorable Speaker, to drive my point home, if we can have protection. These men are really bad. What's your problem? Keep quiet. Right Honorable Speaker, honestly, if we can allow you to have a meeting with these scientists, all our waste we are complaining of will be turned into electricity and chemicals for our factories.
Sorry, Honorable Minister, please link with Honorable Obigaros on this issue. I'm sure you will do a good job together. Honorable Katari Roy, Honorable Rinda Irene.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving this opportunity. I would like to thank the Honorable Minister for the statement. Honorable Minister, I would like to thank you that in the last phase, Kagoma and Kagoma North constituencies were part of the beneficiaries, but unfortunately, like most of the members are saying, the poles are standing, they are not connected, they are not wired. I would like to find out from you, Honorable Minister, when they will be connected. Over the weekend, other trucks came in with more poles. When it comes to Butembe County, the survey was done around March. It's my humble prayer that the contract is signed and they get to work. When it comes to transformers, Honorable Minister, we have centers like Boera in particular, where they cannot even use maize mills. The transformers there have low voltage. We talk about value addition, but if someone cannot add value to their maize, then it becomes a problem. My village is called Wairakabi in Kakra Town Council, but the rate at which that transformer gets spoiled is alarming. I do not know whether the transformers are faulty or what, I do not know. When it comes to government counterpart funding, it is an issue for all the loans that we come up with. I do not know what the Ministry of Finance thinks, but maybe we should reduce on the loans and we go for somewhere we can really fund this. Like my sister from Bujiri said, why wouldn't Ginger, the host of the first dam, be connected fully? And why shouldn't Busoga be connected? I'm not being selfish, I'm only being realistic. Because when it comes to other areas, they have benefits. Electricity is what we can get from government as Busoga. Thank you.
Honorable Irene, Honorable Kolemo, Honorable Babiku.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would also like to thank the Minister for the statement.
And also, I would like to thank you. At least now in Fort Portal, our power is not on and off. We have constant power. Honorable Minister, under the program of Scale Up, as Fort Portal City, we were given allocation of 3,000 connections. We mobilized people who didn't have power, but they are within the range where there are poles to be able to be connected. These people have applied, they've paid money, but up to now they've not been connected. Umeme is saying that they don't have poles. And Right Honorable Minister, these are the very people who had applied under rural electrification 3 years ago, and they didn't get power. They've been waiting. Now again, they are paying for the second time. And now they're asking us, why is government making us pay twice and they're not giving us power? Thank you, Right Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Kormoy.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank the Honorable Minister for a very elaborate statement. I also want to thank her and her team for the job so far done. And we know with the time, everything will be fine. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for the interventions that have been made in my district of Abim. I know some of the areas are already connected, like from Morulem Town Council to Nyakwai Sub-County. It is already connected, but it has not been switched on. I don't think switching on power requires a budget. Honorable Minister, if you are still busy, you just tell us how to switch on, and then we do it on your behalf. Right Honorable Speaker, in some of the sub-counties, like from Alerek Town Council through Magamaga to Adea, most of the poles are wooden poles. The fires, the wildfires have burnt some of the poles already. The termites have eaten some. Electricity in Abim was commissioned in 2022. So, Honorable Minister, the best thing to do for some of those areas is to provide concrete poles, which are very durable. Then the other sub-county, which is almost like Obongi, is Opopongo sub-county. The farthest in Abim, there is nothing, total darkness. So we request, Honorable Minister, that you use your powers to ensure that some of these areas that are not connected also get the services that they deserve. Otherwise, we want to thank you so much, and we wish you the best in that docket. We are proud of you, at least. You are my mentor. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Babiko.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I join the rest in appreciating the comprehensive report by the Honorable Minister and the team. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me put the status of Madi sub-region right. We have 3 districts, including Obongi. Adjumani and Moyo have been connected, but the power is not reliable at all. We have even codenamed it as Ziko, something that comes and goes without even warning you. And as Madi sub-region, our request has been, as we recognize what you have done for West Nile, where we belong, you need to have special consideration for Madi sub-region, so that we can also get reliable power. There is also uniqueness with the poles you have taken to Adjumani and Moyo. Any slight drizzle, the power goes off. Slight drizzle, not even heavy rains. So we don't know the type of poles that you have taken to our area. Honorable Minister, we represent government. We represent Parliament when we are in our constituencies. 2 years, you people have promised to me in written that you are going to visit Adjumani. I have the letter. I have the name of the officer. You have never gone to survey so that you connect the sub-counties. People have developed a mistrust. I was with the Honorable Mamawi in his sub-county. People almost chased us away. The sub-county is trying to fundraise to connect power in Itirikwa sub-county because you have misinformed us, or you have
led us, and we went and reported on your behalf, but the sub-counties are not connected. We have service delivery units, like the health center 4. People are doing operations. People go to theater, but we don't have power. Our request is you look at the health service units, like the health centers, the schools, and the headquarters, but also be with us. I pray that you visit Adjumani as you promised. I'm happy that the state minister is here. We need your commitment so that we give hope to the people, because we know you cannot do miracle to fulfill all these things at once. My request.
Buyende Queen.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Honorable Minister for the statement made. And thank you. We want to thank the government for the efforts that it has put in to support. However, Right Honorable Speaker, I wanted to put this at your desk, that cattle keepers, so the rest would benefit in electricity. Madam Minister, I'm requesting you that you give me a visit to Buyende. Because of the nuclear plant, majority those who come to visit the district are keeping on promising us that we wait for the grid of the nuclear plant. And yet it is in one constituency, the other constituency is not covered. Then too, we have 2 functional health center 4s where we have permanent doctors operating and running oxygen cylinders. But electricity is really rarely. When we get a blackout, it takes a month to come and reconnect. And then the transformers that are always present, I believe it is the staffs working with the UMEMA and the electricity who come to fundraise. There is none a villager who can manage to fundraise a what? A transformer. It is the staffs who are within UMEME who know how to reconnect and disconnect these transformers. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg that Buyende should be given a special consideration and Busoga at large. Like other regions, members don't think we are segregating, but for Busoga region, it is on the electricity where we can benefit as Busoga. Being the mother of the dam, we deserve, just like other regions. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
We have no jiggers, Nyabo.
Gwen Tororo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank you so much for giving us affirmative action as women in this August House today. I am really delighted.
Speak your point. Yay. Okay.
And to our able Minister of Energy, I also want to appreciate you for the wonderful report that you have given to us today. Being the District Man MP of Queen, I want to put it to you, Right Honorable Minister of Energy, that Queen, looking at the terrain of Queen, we have the Soy County and the upper, which is Queen County. But the unfortunate part of it is that the power that was given to Queen, to me, I can rate it at 20%. It is only following the road, the Kapchorwa Swamp Road. So you find that the houses that are far, let's say like the houses that were considered can be like 20 meters away from the road. But those that are far, like 200 meters, maybe to 1 kilometer. So when you look at the schools, the health centers that we have, we are in the state of quagmire. The women are suffering when it comes to delivery. When you look at the terrain, it is hilly. So for a woman from Kosir up there, that is Yatui, where the crops were destroyed, for her to move from up to the health center is very difficult. But it's of course very, very bad to reach the nearest health center. There is no power. And looking at that nearest health center, it's also far from the referral hospital, which is in Kapchorwa. For us in Queen, we only have the health center 4. It's only health center 4. When you go to Soy County, they only have a health center 3. So the difficulty is to climb the hill. The road is not there. So the power is not there. To help a woman who is about to deliver is very difficult. So I would like to interest you, Right Honorable Minister, that kindly have some heart for us, the people of Queen, and consider us more so in this rural electrification. My people hear of stories. The poles, they can only see when they come to the highway. But when they are deep there, even to watch the TV like we are talking, they just hear stories. So just about stories. And they cannot afford the solars. They also need to watch me when I'm presenting.
Thank you, Honorable. Tororo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for her detailed statement, and just to note that it was actually it was a big setback for us when REA was mainstreamed. But now we have to move with what is existing. And I only pray that the ministry acts very fast, because, Right Honorable Speaker, where poles were placed, it is my humble appeal that the ministry, before we get into the next elections, areas where you have placed poles and did surveys way back, please complete those areas first before going into new areas. Honorable Minister, I hope you are listening. There are areas where you placed poles and where surveys were done 5 years, 4 years ago, 3 years, instead, before you go into the new areas. Just my humble appeal, because we shall have an appeal task explaining to the population. I served in the ministry, we surveyed areas. It is now, it's a big issue. But thank you, you pledged to come, and I'm waiting for you. Actually, the people are waiting for you, so that you come and explain, because I now cannot explain. But what I want to state, Right Honorable Speaker, we actually passed a new law in this House, an amended Electricity Act. And in that act, there are stringent penalties. But we still see vandalism of transformers. It is my humble appeal that we find a way of either fitting cameras to these transformers so that we can get the thieves. Because the local people, I don't think it is the local people who are actually removing oil from these transformers. It must be people who are skilled, who know what to do. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, we have the skilling program under the President's office. We have the skilling program under the Ministry of Gender, and other skilling programs run by different agencies. We have the parish development model, Right Honorable Speaker. Most of these young people who are being trained, given skills in welding, given skills in tailoring and so on, all these people need electricity. They all can't come to Kampala or to the towns where there is electricity. They need to provide services to the population down there. So we need to ensure that all the trading centers, as mentioned previously, need to be lit. They need to have electricity access so that people can be self-employed. Unemployment is high in this country.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, we've taken 2 hours on this statement, and this debate cannot close, cannot end. So I'm referring this statement and the one of the leader of opposition to the Committee on Energy, and Environment and Natural Resources. Yes, the clerk always, the answer always captures it very well. So that they can interrogate it further. We can even appear as colleagues. We look at the gaps and all that. And then we come back here, we continue with the debate. Now, I've taken note of those who have debated today. Next time, I will start with those ones. Now, honorable colleagues, we have a time we spend here, okay? I know today I've generally been unfair to men, Okay, I've generally been unfair, and I want to apologize for that. Okay, yes, and I know I am still having around 30 members who want to speak. Now, when you say I'm unfair, I don't know what I would use to pick you, and I don't pick the other colleague, because we are all equal here. That's why I use my own methods of like choosing women, of like sometimes you're trying to battle. Okay, so Honourable Minister, and then I will ask Chair whether that's Chair Energy the time.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I agree entirely with your guidance. And I have a team at the bar behind there who have been recording, but we shall also use Hansards. It is important that we respond to all the individual questions because they have been put on behalf of their constituencies. So we will have to respond to them. Secondly, sir, I want to use this opportunity and say that my office has been receiving individual submissions from your constituencies, and it is guiding us on the implementation. Thirdly, in all the statements that I've made before here, I have emphasized the point of making a priority towards completing the stranded projects. It only makes sense that way. I'm just repeating it. Stranded projects must be a priority. And last one, sir, on the money that was under REA, I'm at pain, really, because that money was for multi-year programs, 500 billions. So when REA was transferred to my ministry, we didn't get the 500 billion shillings. We got 132 billions in bits, but this can be discussed further in the committee. I wanted this to be captured in this afternoon sitting.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, what I will request you to do is, you've seen most of the questions were repetitive, only that members were showing what happens in their constituencies. And that's why, honorable colleagues, how I have a challenge with such a debate. Reason being, we structure it around constituencies. Each MP wants to speak about their area, and I get you. If really I was also, that's how I would also submit. So, but now, Honourable Minister, I will request you that you structure your responses under what I can call common questions. You study the answer, you look at the common questions, you respond to them, okay, generally for the whole country. And that submission which you are going to submit to the committee, I would also need it uploaded on our fresco so that the rest of the members can access it. And when we come back here for debate, we are able to follow, to know you addressed issues of delayed projects, you addressed issues of compensation, you addressed issues of vandalism, generally, because the formula would be one for the whole country. Okay? And then members, honorable members, for those ones who still have issues, I urge you, chairman of the committee, please publish for us when the minister is coming. All members are ex-officio members of the committee. Those who have specific questions they want put to the minister, please ensure you attend and you put them to the minister. Now, Lop, you officially, the leader of opposition officially made a response. So we got it and it's on record. Honorable Chair, I don't know how much time you would need to handle this, because it's an urgent matter. Members would want it to come back here.
Thank you, Chair. You had given us an early assignment, and together with this one, we think, because we are processing the report on the activities we are going to Gulu, we would request that you give us 1 full month to handle.
Yes, so let them do a thorough job.
You give us one full month. But also, Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to thank the Minister and put a correction. Because Honorable Songa had earlier said that 100 years. West Nile has been part of Uganda for 110 years. We became part of Uganda in 1914. So today it is 110 years since we have been Ugandans, and we want to thank government for connecting West Nile to national grid.
Welcome to Uganda, Honorable.
Thank you very much.
The people of West Nile. Next item.
Item 6, laying of reports of parliamentary delegations abroad. 6.5, report of the delegation of the Pan-African Parliament to the extraordinary session of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament held in Midrand, South Africa.
Honorable Kotogong.
Mr. Speaker, sir, and honourable members of Parliament, in accordance to our rules of procedure, I rise to present the report of the delegation of Pan-African Parliament to the extraordinary session of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament held on the 20th to 27th March 2024 in Midrand, South Africa. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honourable members, the main focus of the extraordinary meeting was to carry out elections for the positions that had fallen vacant. And the positions were that of the President of the Pan-African Parliament, the Vice President, and the 4th Vice President. 3 positions in the Bureau were not filled, were vacant. So an extraordinary meeting was convened, and elections were held in accordance to our rules of procedure of the Pan-African Parliament. And we adopted the principle of rotation, and in that case, the position of the President of the Pan-African Parliament went to Southern Africa. The position of the 1st Vice President went to Northern Caucasus, and the position of the 4th Vice President went to the Central Caucasus. Right now, our Bureau is fully filled up. The positions are filled up, and they're functioning very well. To emphasize, the position of the President was taken by Honorable Chief Charumbira from Zimbabwe, that is for Southern Region. The position of Vice President, 1st Vice President, is by Professor Masuda Mohamed Ladaf of Mauritania. The position of the 2nd Vice is by Honorable Dr. Ashebir Agayo for Eastern Africa. And the position for the 3rd Vice President is by Lucia dos Passos from Cape Verde. That is Western Region. And the final position for the 4th Vice President was taken by Dija Muhammad Mahat from Central Africa. Mr. Speaker, this is just for information. Other details are in the report, and I'm going to lay the report in accordance to our Rule 33 of our Rules of Procedure. I beg to lay the report of the extraordinary meeting. Mr. Speaker, we have another report.
Item 6.5, report of the Parliament of Uganda delegation to the 3rd ordinary session of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament, 24th June to 5th July 2024.
Mr. Speaker, this is a report of our Pan-African Parliament, our delegation to the 3rd ordinary session of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament, held on the 24th June to 5th July 2024 in Midrand, South Africa. Pursuant to the Rule 28 of our Rules of Procedure of the Pan-African Parliament, the PAP, that is Pan-African Parliament, held the third ordinary session of the 6th Parliament of Pan-African Parliament on the 24th June to 5th July 2024 at the PAP headquarters in Midrand. And it was held under the theme, the African Union theme, that is education and education of African fit for the first century, building resilient education system for increased access to long life, quality education, inclusive education, accessible education, and relevant learning for Africa. Mr. Speaker, I'm just going to give a summary because the details of the report is in the report, which is already uploaded. Members can read the report for more details. The official opening of the ceremony was by the former president of the Pan-African Parliament, actually the first president of the Pan-African Parliament, Abdel bin Abdul, and it was basically to thank members of Parliament, to appraise members of Pan-African Parliament, of the vision of the Pan-African Parliament, and also to encourage members to network and also work closely with the member states to ensure that the resolutions and recommendations of the Pan-African Parliament are presented to the national parliaments, and the national parliaments can adopt, or they can also make it part of the laws that they may wish to present. Mr. Speaker, we have 5 members which are in the delegation. I'm the team leader, the leader of the delegation. We have Honorable Achayo Lodo, who is a member from Ngora County, NRM. We have Honorable Kamusime Caroline, woman representative of Ruchiga. I think members should know members who represent Parliament in the Pan-African Parliament. And actually, she's the first vice president, chairperson of the Women Caucus of the Pan-African Parliament. I was elected to be the vice chair of the Eastern region of all members of Parliament. We have Honorable Patrick Oshabe. Patrick Oshabe is liked by members of Parliament, very active, and is now the rapporteur of the committee of PAP, that is the audit committee. Very active member of that committee. And Honorable Abdul Katuntu just joined us, and now is also a member of a committee of Justice and Human Rights. This is a committee that he was a member 20 years ago when he represented us around 2003. Now he is now going to represent us there as a member. And pursuant to our rule of procedure, new members joined and they were sworn in. You know, Pan-African, members come, members go, and as we go for our session, we swear in many members, and they were sworn in. Mr. Speaker, there are many issues that were presented, but the main issue, the landmark matter that was discussed was the model law on food and nutrition in Africa. And that motion was adopted and fully supported by all members of Parliament, because we realized that our people are denied food. Most of our members, citizens, do not have quality food. We have abandoned our traditional food. We are now only eating food that are foreign to our bodies. And that's why sometimes we become weak. We get diseases that were not common in Africa because of the type of food that we eat. So we have come out with a model law that should be adopted by all countries. And that law, we are going to present them here so that we can get some insight from the Pan-African Parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, we also celebrated our 20th anniversary. You know, Pan-African Parliament was inaugurated in 2004. So this is our 20th birthday. It was celebrated there, And the theme was only for reflecting on the future and charting the way forward, the path of the Union, the path of the Pan-African Parliament, and the path of the continent of Africa. Mr. Speaker and honorable members of Parliament, we actually came out with 12 resolutions and 8 recommendations in our meeting. And I want to go through the briefly.
Honorable, we don't have that.
May not be possible.
Yeah.
But just to inform you, we came out with very good recommendations and resolutions. I would like to implore members of Parliament who may have time, please, on your iPad, you have the report. And I'm going to lay it here, but in your iPad, they are there. Please read and know what we are doing in the Pan-African Parliament. We are representing you fully. We are very active, and Uganda is noted.
Procedure, Honorable Taka.
Thank you very much. So may I therefore...
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you. The procedure matter I'm raising, Right Honorable Speaker, is that the rule tells the Honorable Member to lay, and the order paper is saying lay. I don't know whether we are proceeding well, Right Honorable Speaker.
No, Honorable colleague, Rule 37(2). It requires a member to give a summary. And quick highlights. So
honorable members, I hope now, don't forget, remind that, just be aware of that rule.
Thank you, Honorable.
May I take the opportunity to lay the report and also the resolutions are here. I beg to lay.
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker and members.
No, Honorable, have you laid all the 3?
Yeah.
Are we done? Yeah.
Item 6.6, resolutions and recommendations from the 3rd ordinary session of the 6th Parliament, 21st June to 5 July 2024.
Yeah. Just procedure, Honorable Sir.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Honorable Koto Gong for his report. But however, Right Honorable Speaker, this Parliament has 500 and I think 49 or so members. And out of these 500 and something members, I don't know whether we are being fair to the members. That one member, I know it is the Speaker, who actually designates independent members of Parliament. Is it fair to get one member to chair a committee and at the same time delegate this one member to the Pan-African Parliament? The Honorable Abdu Katuntu, I think, is the chair of the Rules Committee. At the same time, he is also representing this Parliament in Pan-African Parliament. Don't we have independents who can chair the Rules Committee? Right Honorable Speaker, I am raising this matter. Let us really practice the 4-way test. That we share responsibility. It can't be one person. So I just want to raise this, that is it procedurally right that out of 500 members, you have one person in the Pan-African Parliament. The same person is the chairperson of the Rules Committee. Can't that be given to another person to handle? Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable colleague. That's well noted. Yeah. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the resolution is the outcome of our report, and therefore I just I beg to lay the resolutions of the Pan-African Parliament to this Parliament.
Thank you. Honorable colleague, the rules say debate shall not ensue. So these are for information purposes. So we are going to ensure they're in the library for easy access. Then there are these which are uploaded so that you can read through them. Honorable colleagues, I have a fireplace conversation with the youth of Uganda starting at 6. I'm already ready. Please, let's take it on from tomorrow at 2 p.m. House adjourned to tomorrow at 2 p.m.